And we've been fortunate to be on great teams, winning teams, because that's what it's all about. And there's nothing like pulling into that stadium on that bus and you are in that game. You got the police escort everywhere you want to go, and that's the thrill of the hunt, winning the championship.
And I've heard, I hear all of the players say, "I'd do it again." Every one of them say, "I'd do it again."
No doubt about it.
And it's that camaraderie that goes on in the locker room and on the field and this whole thing. And it keeps you saying, "I still do it."
Oh, yeah.
And we've both been, and we come back together again. See, I'm leaving Colorado and Curtis is a freshman at Kansas. Colorado and Oklahoma and Kansas State, Missouri, Nebraska, that was the Big Seven back then.
Yeah.
I'm leaving there when Curtis, but the thing that gives you just is to see how everything is developed. You had to fight for it, but anything is worth fighting for anyway, if it's worth it. And that's why we're blessed, And then, of course, what put us back together again is that my good friend Jim and teammate says that we got to get involved in the movement. This is 62, 63. He said, we're not going to march, and we're not going to sit in, but we got to be involved. And what we then did was go to the players that we knew, the Bobby Mitchells, the Curtis McClendons, the Willie Davis, and those guys, and say, if we put this organization together, will you guys help and support us around the country? Bobby Mitchell, and that's when NIEU, Negro Industrial Economic Union. Curtis was one of the guys that we knew from Kansas, Colorado, ran the most successful operation we had in the 6 cities. We were in Harlem, New York, Washington, D.C. Bobby Mitchell ran that office. Curtis ran the office in Kansas City. I ran the headquarters out of Cleveland. And we had office in L.A. and Oakland. Jim was living out in L.A. during those times, and so forth. So he was making movies and doing all that. So
this is after he had left the
not
Browns.
Quite. He's still playing in 62 and 63, but he's not, quote, living in Cleveland the way he was before. And, of course, as you well know, he and Modell got crosswise on shooting the movie that he was shooting overseas. Or Dirty Dozen, I guess it was, the name of it.
Yeah, what's her name was in it?
You think about Raquel Welch.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but the Dirty Dozen movie was with Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin, that's right.
Military.
That's right.
That's the movie that created the problem with Jim.
So he didn't want him to do it, or he just didn't want him to do. He didn't want him to be the lead actor. What was it?
Well, he got caught up in the fact that Jim was going to be late coming back to camp, and camp starting in July, and the fact that Jim wouldn't be able to do that because they hadn't finished the shooting is when he said, well, if he's not here, we'll fine him $100 for training camp, $100 a day. But Jim ego is just as big as he is, right? Jim said, call the guys and tell them I'm going to announce I'm going to be retiring tomorrow. You know, that's
And he's at the top of his game. He is
Yes.
clearly
Oh, yeah.
the best running back
That's
that the
right.
NFL has ever seen.
Yeah.
He's breaking all of the records.
and he's ready to go. He's gonna come flying. He had already said, "I'm gonna be late, but let the guys know when I come, I'll be flying." We know what that meant. And you were talking about being late for training camp, and that's where that vision came. But getting back to what we were able to do, because of the fact that we had pulled the players together. And when I said players, I'm talking about guys that was willing to work in the communities and so forth, and had these offices. Then we could move in the direction that we wanted to move. And sitting down with Dr. King, explained to him why we weren't going to be at the March on Washington and so forth.
But you felt, as NFL players who were African American, you felt you needed to be engaged in some form of what was happening with civil rights.
In the movement. We needed to be involved in the movement. It was too important to us.
Fast forward then, John, to Cassius Clay beating Sonny Liston, then becoming Muhammad Ali. And then there was really a need for support when they talked about Ali not letting him fight. There was Jim Brown, there was Lou Alcindor, there was Bill Russell. I'm trying to remember who else was there.
Bobby Mitchell.
They were all sitting there with
This guy right here.
Curtis McClellan sitting there with Cassius Clay, or Muhammad Ali then.
Well, it was Cassius Clay at that time.
That's what I thought. He hadn't quite changed.
It didn't become Muhammad Ali until the 68, 69. But he was Cassius Clay at that time. And just give you a little stories about it. When Jim retired, we wanted to have an event there in Cleveland for his celebration of his career. But we wanted to use it as a fundraiser. And we asked Cassius Clay to come and be a part of this. He became, we wanted him to be the first speaker. In addition, we wanted Russell to come. It was going to be on a Sunday afternoon. Russell played that afternoon with the Celtics, jumped on a plane and got out to Cleveland to celebrate Jim's retirement in 65. So consequently, when they backed up and the champ, Cassius Clay, didn't step forward in Houston in 67. Jim calls, they're at their office, the office on 105 in Euclid, there in Cleveland. And he said, "I just got off the phone with Herbert Muhammad. They've taken away the champ's belt and his passport. They're accusing him of being a draft dodger, which is, under law, you go to jail.
Right.
He needs our help. Call the guys and tell them we need to meet in Cleveland Saturday night." Okay? Didn't give me one name to call. But yet you've seen that picture.
I have.
Huh?
Definitely.
The thing that was so remarkable about it is that there's not one single guy that I called said, "Hey man, this could get tough. Maybe I better not make that move. Or who's gonna pay for this?" Not one guy. We met that Saturday night. I told him, in response to what we were saying and talking about, that we would meet on Saturday evening at the Hilton Hotel on 9th and Euclid. We met. This gentleman here headlining right in the thick of it. Because we had all done our military responsibility, you know, Jim had ROTC, OCS, and all that stuff, and Bobby Mitchell had served his time, Willie Davis, all those guys. Me, we had done ours through the National Guard. But the champ kept saying one thing over and over throughout that meeting. I don't want to be involved or belong to any organization that kills people. I don't want to be a part of that. And that Sunday,
Yep.
we met at the hotel and went out to our office there on 105 in Euclid, had that press conference. And we stood unanimous, said to the American public, we support the champ, that he is not a draft dodger, he's a conscientious objector, and we, to every man, support that.
Do people know it was John Wooten making these calls to get the players there?
That wasn't important. What was important was what we were doing, not who it was. But Willis, that's what we were about. You know?
How much do you guys ever just think about the history, not only the history that occurred, but that the history you were creating? Just in the 60s, you were breaking barriers, you were breaking ceilings that just people take for granted now, Curtis. We just assume. Do you guys ever just reflect on, man, I can't believe we did that?
I think you're correct about that. I can't believe we did it because we're fighting the champs of the league, the owners, the millionaires that own the team.
That's right.
And call it game off, and the whole league off. You know, there were those type of guys.
And I wonder, do the players today in 2025 really appreciate the path? Or let me put it this way: the shade tree that they're sitting under is because of the seeds you planted.
I think they do. I think that they are conscious. You know, they have the player coalitions and just about all over the country. You see guys working in the community in off season, creating foundations. See, the road that we took was economics and education. That was the road that we took. And consequently, we were able to help establish scholarships and help. We're not just talking about creating football teams. Now.
Correct.
We're talking about helping young people
Right.
in the community that you know need help to go on to get the education and so forth. When you talk about economics and education, who's going to fight against that? Huh? Who's going to fight against that? And that's the route that we took. You know, and that's why I'm so grateful to this man here.
When I say Otis Taylor, it's fourth down. They're on the 10-yard line. Everybody in the stadium know they gonna throw the ball to Otis Taylor. They got 4 people on him, and he catches it with one hand. That's when I hear Otis Taylor.
I understand.
That's the other side of Otis Taylor.
That's the only side to it.
And I don't think people know. Young guys, get a chance. Google Otis Taylor.
Yes. Just be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my goodness.
No question about it.
John, if I say, Bart Starr, you say what?
Tough, can throw it, could throw the ball, smart, hard to beat that kind of a quarterback.
Because Green Bay and Cleveland had some
we had some
knockdown
good
drop.
had
I mean, yo.
See, and the thing that hurt the most is that their two top defensive linemen, Henry Jordan and Willie Davis, they both came from the Cleveland Browns in a trade.
Didn't know that.
Yes, both of them. You know, I mean, they should have been right there with us. Here they are playing against us. And they, you know what that's going to do to them. You know, Henry Jordan and Willie Davis.
So right now, the Dallas Cowboys, right now, the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody laughs. It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
But it was a long time for the Chiefs, Curtis. It was
long time.
Exactly. So I want the Cowboy fans to understand it can still happen. I think that Super Bowl that you guys won was, again, Super Bowl 3.
Yep.
Was it 4? Super Bowl 4. And now you won probably 4 Super Bowls in the last 4 or 5 years. But it took 50 years to get there.
That's right.
And if I'm not mistaken, John, help me. Had the Cleveland Browns ever been to the Super Bowl?
No. And I said that with a dagger in my heart, because there have been so many times they were right there, you know, and they just couldn't pull the trigger and make the play.
It was Green Bay that was keeping y'all
Green Bay
out.
kept us out.
And then it was Cleveland and Dallas back then had a little rivalry too,
Yeah,
though.
good rivalry.
Those were good days too.
But you know, the Raiders, you know, with throwing the interception there that day, and then not Newhouse, but who?
Calvin Hill?
No, for the running back. What is his name? He fumbles. In Denver. What is his name? And I can't. I'm having a senior moment.
Yes, no, well, me too. But I'm looking at him. Yes, and if he don't do that,
right,
you're in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
But he did.
Bobby Bell.
But he did.
Yeah.
John Wooten, Curtis McClinton. Man, this is something special. I can't thank y'all enough. I can't thank y'all enough.
We can't thank you enough.
What you did, and we're all benefiting from the efforts that you made in the 60s and the 70s. Just thank you. Much appreciation.
We're benefiting from the fact that you all put the league together. That's what helped us.
One day you guys will understand who these guys are and what they did. So I have a little emotion about Curtis and John on the JBJ Management Podcast. I just want to say thank you for the old schoolers. And the shade tree we're sitting under is because of the seeds they planted. We'll see you in the next time.